In terms of, Tom, you said something about bringing jobs back to America, all right? Many years ago, when I first got into government service, they used to say, when there was material to be ordered, the material shall have in the United States certificate of origin to it. That means vehicles, it means any sort of durable goods or anything like that, all right? And with the advent, of time, that went by the boards. Okay? Once Toyota started to bring their stuff into America, the whole system went to hell, because Toyota was not monitored for the amount of cars that they were supposed to bring in versus the amount of cars we were supposed to send there. It just went. Tariffs. Huh? The tariffs, yeah. Now, as far as I'm concerned, what's the, how can we resurrect the fact that if it's not made in America, it's not sold in America? That goes for durable goods, that goes for clothing, that goes for cars, that goes for tools, that goes for everything across the board. As far as electronics go, if it's not made in America, it's not sold in America, because we're the ones that gave the Japanese and the Indians and the Pakistanis and whoever else is manufacturing printed circuit boards our technology, where they come over and they steal it from us to make their products that are sold back here. That's number two. And number three, the oil situation. The Alaskan oil pipeline, 95% of that oil is shipped to Japan for refinement and for purchase. That's supposed to be for our use and our use only. Okay, and as far as offshore drilling, we have more oil underneath our shores than the Mideast does.
The biggest solution to the problems that you addressed is basically solving our energy policy. We have a failed energy policy. The reason why Alcoa is moving to Saudi Arabia, because it's cheaper. Our environmental policy and our energy policy is driving jobs overseas. It's not allowing us to drill for oil. They're trying to kill the coal industry as we speak through the, global climate alarmism. What you're speaking about is only going to get worse. The way to do it is to solve the energy policy, then we can compete. If we don't have a supply of cheap and affordable energy, there's no way we can compete globally. If they take the handcuffs off, we can beat any country. But they're sending our industry in handcuffed in this global economy. The way to solve it is solve our energy policy. Let us drill, let us mine, and then we can compete.
Yes.
Hello, my name is John Farrell. I live in Monroe. I am not a Republican candidate or anything else like that. And I'm not very articulate.
No, you're good.
But what I fear about your plan is third party. We have a third party who's running on conservative values. He or she is going to split the vote, maybe go to the Republicans. And that would defeat everyone here, all our votes. I think what we should do, and it is time for action, and that action is to take back the Republican Party, which that's what occurred up in Massachusetts. Massachusetts, they have 12% of the registered voters of their Republicans. Scott Brown, he had 4 simple things he ran on, all conservative platforms, all 4 points of conservative. He got the independents. It is time to do something, and that's what the Tea Parties are all about. It's about taking back the Republican Party. The way the whole system is set up, it's 2 parties, the third party, will never be...
So I would just respectfully disagree, right? Things change all the time.
Can you repeat what he said, because half the room can't hear what he said?
So the bottom line of the question was, he fears the third party and it will split the vote. Okay. And I would just say I respectfully disagree that technology has allowed more things to change in our lifetime than we can count. And what we're about to see is the breakdown of these 2 parties. Scott Brown is not a Republican. Scott Brown won on the Republican ticket because everybody was voting against Oakley and the Democratic side. Right? The time is now. People people are ready to change. If you listen to this question and the one you asked before, and I don't mean to pick on you because everybody in America does this, you start with, I fear this, or somebody says, I'm afraid of that, or I'm concerned of the other thing. Those three words are what's destroying our country. People need to stand up for principles and what they believe in. Let's go forward and make this thing different and better for our kids. We're not going to get there incrementally, like one race at a time, 3 races here. This debt needs to be addressed now. The education system needs to be addressed now. If we're going to take 10 or 30 seats, that's not enough.
If you go after, you have to go after the third-party systems and party systems, you got to go after on the state level.
But
those people that don't pay attention to who's running for a county legislator and assembly, those are vitally important races if you want to accomplish anything, let alone what he's saying.
Yes, everything you heard. You know, the gentleman,
you can't just magically make it happen.
The gentleman talking about the precinct chairs, every person in this room should go become a precinct chair of either party. Absolutely, right? With GO, we're talking about the House of Representatives, one race, like one area, pinpoint, let's go in and turn this country politically around overnight. Everything else will follow.
Okay, can I make a comment on that, Frank?
Yes, sir.
You know, you live in New York State. We have these smaller parties. I'm a Republican. I've never won on the Republican line. I've always won on the conservative line because we add up the votes you get on the Independence Party, Conservative Party, and the Republican. Those are the 3 parties that I carry. So I think that works. And now you see the Independence Party has passed the Conservative Party in terms of registration, and it determines many races. So I think there's a process of natural selection that's going on. Now, unfortunately, other states don't work like this. But New York State, you add up the votes you get in those parties, and so far it seems to be working.
Unless you don't get the conservative or independent line. If
Well,
you're
that's
conservative, and then you're screaming and cursing. And
You got to work for that, and you got to get around and compete for it. Not easy.
Let me answer that too. We'll get to this thing too, because it's part of the entire conversation. Remember, folks, look what we're doing here. It's about strategy and tactics.
Microphone.
Go right into the mic. Yes, it's about strategy and tactics, and look at why we're here. Now, you see, what we're gathering here is a coalescence and a hybrid of ideas. And Tom is adding a new paradigm and a new platform. So that's fine, and as well as what everyone is talking about. Now, we do have a system in place. We do have 2010 elections coming around the corner, and what the elections around the other states have proved is that regardless of party affiliation, the voters are waking up and taking back their country, and they're using the technology that the founding fathers gave us way back then, before Dell and before computers, and that is the 10th Amendment. We keep forgetting about the Powers Clause. All powers derive from the people. And the system that we do have in place is how to exercise that power. And there's people power here in this room. So, with all deference and due respect to our friend here, the answer lies somewhere in a combination of it all. And so, naturally, we have elections coming up, and I think that everyone should get involved now in the political process that we have right now. Don't wait for new systems and new paradigms to be put in place. The founding fathers were brilliant. If they had computers, they would have came up with a system that would have been reflective of maybe what Tom was talking about, Tim was talking about. But right now we do have a way to pull people into the Republican Party, which will automatically, by osmosis, pull people who are to the far to the left, pull them more to the center, and those who are on the right of the Republican, pull them more to the other side of the line. So we do have that. Now, take the question.